everyone, and it's a pleasure to interact with Mr. Florian Sengstschmid, CEO of Azerbaijan Tourism Board today with the Mice Affairs Media Group. So, Mr. Florian, welcome to the show, and thanks for your time of interacting with us and share the key updates about the destination. So, as you know, the situation has been grim, and everybody is fighting to combat this pandemic since 1.5 years now. So to start with, if you can, update us with the current situation in Azerbaijan and what kind of measures are being taken to combat this disease and the status of vaccination. If you can brief us a bit, that would be great. Over to you.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Greetings to all audience of Mice Affairs. Great to connect with you. Always especially great and happy to connect with all our Indian partners and friends. It has been really too long since we've been in touch and in contact physically in India. So let's update you today on a bit on the situation, on what's going on and how is the development in Azerbaijan. So by now, basically, more than 3 million people are vaccinated. That's really a very, very fast and efficient rollout. Azerbaijan has also started to vaccine people over the age of 18. So we see basically that several vaccines are available, all electronically handled. So a very smooth process, and daily infection rates with about 5 to 10, and no more. Fortunately, no more death rate is being announced for the last several weeks. So overall, a very positive development. Also, from the beginning, I would have to say Azerbaijan was one of the first countries to close its borders quite early in March 2020. And soon, with a gradual reopening of borders now, we also see that basically we are entering the road towards recovery. Recovery is not in sight. I think over the next years, but at least I think for now we are on the right track. Since June 10th, tourism has gradually restarted for the time being with vaccinated travelers arriving from Russia and Turkey, and vaccinated or immunized, being basically having passed the COVID-19 with an immune passport, plus a PCR test valid for 72 hours prior to departure. So this is the current state. As per June 21st, more countries to be added: US, Great Britain, also Middle Eastern countries, Israel, and others. So we see there is basically the doors are opening, and we're welcoming back travelers, although it will also take some time to fully get back to our success story, what we have been presenting in 2019.
Sure, thank you for this quick update, and good to know that Azerbaijan is right on the track to recover and reopen very soon. So coming on to the next, we would like to know about the various initiatives being taken by Azerbaijan with respect to the mice industry during this pandemic. If you can share the key initiatives with respect to the mice industry.
I think mice industry business events are part of the bigger scope. First and foremost were the health and safety of both locals and travelers alike. So basically one of the first measures taken also from our side was basically to improve sanitation and hygiene methods and norms in the country. We have released a program audited and certified by PwC already in April 2020, which is not only looking at hotels or accommodation units, but also at other suppliers along the value chain, especially agencies, tour guides, transportation companies. So to really see how we can support them. Government support was essential during this time, not only in terms of salary compensation, tax holidays, new credit schemes. So this was all in place, but also basically with the physical supply of hygiene material, gloves, masks, liquid basically for disinfection. All we know in the beginning, this was shortages on a global scale. So we also supported our partners with supplying them basically these materials. Also, since hotels never really closed in Azerbaijan, they had to follow very strict norms, and this is important also for us. So during all these times, we could look at domestic travel for at least a bit of recovery and gaining. Compensating the losses we did with international arrivals. Although also understanding that business events in MICE is definitely one of the hardest hit subsectors, let's put it this way, because crowds is definitely something which should and has been avoided since the beginning, and until now basically there is only small-scale events available here in Azerbaijan. There is, for the time being, also no weddings, no big events, no physical gatherings. But we hope that basically soon, also with a scheme of vaccination of 80% of the staff working and visitors, participants, delegates alike, we'll find the first way basically also on recovery here on the business events. Restaurants, all this is opening, and so we are positive that soon also with business events, at least in a small and hybrid scheme, I think this is what we're looking at in the beginning, will restart to function. This is from the business events perspective. Until now, basically, we are more looking at still looking at virtual events, and slowly, step by step, we see hybrid events as a kind of intermediary solution until we get back to the normal and to our beautiful big congresses, meetings, association events, corporate events, and for India, very important, our beautiful Indian weddings here in Azerbaijan.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for this update regarding the MICE business. So my next question to you would be, what is next? What are the plans to reopen, or is there any process to follow the reopen? So reopen strategies. Over to you.
From the very beginning in March 2020, we have basically internally set up a four-phased recovery strategy. The first phase was during the lockdown. So basically this was like when all borders are completely closed. So we focused on how can we improve with safety and hygiene programs, how can we basically support industry partner sectors. We started tourism training and certification center to really put a focus on the individuals. Tourism, MICE business, it's people, it's a people's industry. So how to basically support our colleagues here to not to change the sector, but really to continue to educate, to train them, to supply them with and support them with various basically government support mechanisms in order to keep them in the industry. So this was the first phase. The second phase, we in summer 2020 started with the domestic tourism program. Maceraya Khendade means like the adventure is near. So we also saw that this was a successful approach. Like most other countries, Azerbaijanis discovered their own country, the own regions and territories, and I think this was exciting for everyone also to go through. And with this basically second phase chipping in, the third phase of regional travel, what we see now with the borders to Russia, to Turkey, to neighboring countries opening, and how is it continuing to be, or what's next? We hope that step by step, this gradual continuation of opening borders in this fourth phase is continuing. I think what we all need for that in a global perspective is we need the vaccination to roll out as fast and efficiently as possible. In that sense, every country needs to support international partners in other countries who are not as privileged to secure themselves as many vaccination doses. In that sense, I think the COVAX initiatives and other initiatives has to be fully supported, and like Azerbaijan also contributed to this international program and others. Basically, I think every nation is basically has to contribute its part in this. I think border opening is definitely one part, but we also need to look at unified travel protocols. Now we see that corridors, travel bubbles are coming up. We don't believe long-term in this. We really need unified protocols, how people travel. I see with a lot of friends and colleagues here calling almost every day is like, I want to travel to there. What do I need? Is it allowed? No, is like for some kids +12 need a vaccine, others +18. No, you need to be from there. So it's like only selected vaccines are available. We need to really unify this, and this is we need to work on internationally. Obviously, for now, it's health authorities having the saying, but I think tourism and economic perspective need to align together with health and see that we can really bring that on one common sense and minimum criteria valid for everyone to travel. And another thing is, I think what's next, we really need all to look at regional and international cooperation. It has been a year and a half of kind of like island thinking and developments on national levels. I think we all need to come together, strengthen partnerships with our industry partners in the region and abroad. And this is the only way tourism and business events function in the long term, because people will want to travel, people will want to discover new cultures, people will want to participate in live events. It is a different feeling than connecting virtually, and I think we as basically national tourism organizations and also authorities need to ensure that on a global level, our dialogue basically with colleagues and partners leads to a successful recovery of tourism over the next 2-3 years.
Sure, thank you so much. I liked your point of unified travel protocols. So my next question is basis that only, like, any specific SOPs or protocols for MICE groups? So if a MICE group is coming to Azerbaijan, so, how would you expect them to behave? Any specific steps to follow?
For now, as I said, unfortunately, no medium or large scale events here. Everything what is in place basically is hygiene norms, is basically in Azerbaijan, at least 80% of the staff working in restaurants and malls and other basically large indoor premises have to be vaccinated in order to be allowed to reopen. So I think on the side of the supplier, this can only be through vaccination and to provide the customer at the end with the feeling of acting in a safe environment. On the same time, there is obviously some standards of distance, 1.5 meters, a maximum number of allowed people per square meter. All these, I think, is to be considered. But at the end, I think it will need also in this regard standards and norms, not only on a national but on a global level, because this is the only way how we can attract also not only us but any other destination can attract global events. Once this uncertainty and insecurity of what is the travel norms and what is the protocols to arrange such events. So this needs to be clear, coherent, and best case possibly unified to fill up beautiful premises and bring events and to visit other countries.
So thank you so much. As you're talking about MICE and industry at large, so any special schemes or support programs which Azerbaijan is planning right now?
I think what Azerbaijan did from the beginning of the pandemic is, as I mentioned before, is salary compensations for people working in tourism and my sector, is tax holidays, is basically also new loan schemes and credit lines opened. I think these were the main from an economic perspective. What we added on top was a lot of learning programs. Basically, we have provided skills development, let's say, to our industry colleagues, and have formed new professional experts group in order to support them. So I think this is a successful example on how Azerbaijan did it. Now with the borders opening, we expect and we hope that also our dear colleagues in the industry will step by step with regaining their partners and clients into business. We hosted more than a week ago a beautiful F1 Baku city circuit, exciting race through the narrow streets of Baku. Yesterday, the last of the group games during UEFA Euro 2020, with stadiums filled to maximum 50% of their capacity. And so also with like large scale events, we continue the discussion and to keep Azerbaijan top of mind, so that as soon as also we fully open again, people will come and visit and organize their events here.
Sure. Thank you so much. And in the last, I would like to take your key message for the industry.
I think key message is first one is get vaccinated, especially in tourism and business events. We have to be role models for the entire society, that basically tourism and travel and events will only happen once basically we make sure that we are immune against this virus, and to also create this safe environment for people coming, visiting, and enjoying in other destinations. Second, I think is what I said before: unified travel protocols as much as possible. Keep dialogue ongoing with regional partners and with all international platforms to see to seek an alliances on how to basically overcome these individual approaches to reopen borders. And third, I think is what is really important. We are all in this together, and we will have to go through this together. Obviously, we see light at the end of the tunnel, and also happy to see light at the end of the tunnel in India. The situation is improving. This was very heartbreaking for all of us, being so strongly connected to our Indian partners and friends, and really working together, collaborating, exchanging information, and supporting others and each other in this hard time, I think is key to success, and will be will be a quintessence for us to go through this pandemic until the end. So cooperation, collaboration, and support each other.
Sure. Thank you so much, Florian, for sharing your views and key updates from destination, and thanks for your time for being with us. It was lovely talking to you, and look forward to see you in person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.